Why so many people quit, even before they start to sit down and script? If just the thought of Roblox scripting makes you want to rage quit, then stick around. Because in this video, I'll share one simple trick with you that's gonna make scripting life so simple for you that you might never want to stop scripting again. You're gonna want to keep on scripting game after game after game and never stop. Now usually the reason people are so afraid of scripting is because scripting is so hard. You have to remember a lot of things. You gotta remember what code can do what. You gotta remember the syntax of the code. You gotta remember the keywords. You gotta remember the sequential order, which statement goes first, what you need to do next. You gotta remember all the parameters, how they all work. So it's a lot of stuff to remember. And if you don't do that every day, then it gets even harder, because if you do it once a month, when you sit down, you're not gonna remember all those things. So then you have to spend time looking them up. And that takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, and that is why a lot of people would quit even before they start to sit down and script. But that is before you see this video today, because after today, you're not gonna have those problems ever again. Regardless, even if you're scripting every day, this little trick here is still gonna make your scripting life 10 times easier. But if you're scripting like once a month or once a year, then this little trick here is crucial, so that you don't get scared of sitting down and start scripting again after a month or after a year. Let's now get right to it. You see, actually, scripting in Roblox is pretty simple when comparing it to something else like working in TikTok or Facebook or Google, where you have to keep track of millions of things that happens every second. Scripting in Roblox, you only have a few different scenarios. Every game in Roblox probably share mostly the same scripts. Like they have to have a touch event, they have to use remote events, they have to have a player added event, character added event. So they all share the same similar processes. And once you have all those processes that are used in every Roblox game down pat, then you can script almost any Roblox game you want. So today I'm going to show you how to get those processes down pat. Let's get started by going to our server script service. We're going to add a script. And you see, the script says hello world, which is pretty much meaningless because no game would use print hello world in the game. So this is meaningless. We don't want that in our game. So instead of starting the script with something meaningless like that, you may want to start the script with something more meaningful. For example, like here I have a part, and if I want to add a touch event to this part, I may do something like this. I'm going to add a script to the part, and you see immediately I have a script for a touch event to that part. So now I don't have to type all these scripts ever again because it is there for me already. I can do this a month later, a year later. I don't need to memorize all the scripts here, right? I don't need to know how it works. As soon as I want to add a touch event to the part, the script is already there for me. There's nothing I need to do. And if I want to go to another part, like let's say if another part in my game needs a touch event, I can go to a different part. Let's say this part, part B, and add a script there. And you can see the touch event script is there for me. There is nothing that I needed to do. If I want this here, the touch event in part C to behave differently than the one in part B, I can change it. I can change inside here to whatever I want. For example, player has touched a different part. At this point, you may be wondering to yourself, like, how did the system know I wanted to add a touch event to the part? Well, I'm going to show you right now. So let's say if we go to the server script service, we're going to add a script. And this time, instead of adding a script for a touch event, I'm going to add a script to a player added event. So I'm just going to add a script. And you see this here is a touch event that we had earlier. So what we're going to do is, and this here is the main trick of this whole thing. That is how it's going to make your scripting life 10 times easier. Is what you're going to do is you're going to put a comment here, right? You're going to say this is a touch event script or touch script. That's fine too. But now remember, we want to add a player added event, not a touch event. So we're just going to go down here and we're going to say player added script. Hit enter. And you gotta enter the player added the event script one time only. So this is the script that you want. Or if you want, you can leave this part here open, because it's gonna be depending on the game that you're making. Each game is gonna have a different criteria that you have to do when a player is added to the game. Alright, so now I have a player added event here. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here to edit, and be sure you want to save as default script. This way, I can now go ahead and delete the script here. But the next time I add a new script in, right? So let's say again, now I want to add a player added event, and I haven't coded for like a month. I have no idea what syntax, what statement, what keyword I need to put in for a player added event. All I need to do is go to the server script service, because I know that's where the player added event goes. I'm just gonna click on the plus sign, add a script. And let me get rid of this one so you get more screen to look at. And here, you see you have two choices now. You have the first choice is for a touch event script, which you would put under a part. In this case, we don't want a touch event script. We want a player added event script. So you can go ahead and just select all these, press delete, and it's gone. Now we have a player added event script. And we didn't have to do any coding. We didn't have to do anything. It's just there for us to use. Even if you use it today, tomorrow, a month later, or a year later, or 10 years later, it's still gonna be there. You don't need to memorize all this stuff. And you don't need to retype them. Even if you do it every day, and you know by heart how to type all these in, you still have to sit there and type them in. But with this trick, you don't even need to type them in. It is there for you to use. Now, if you're trying to do what I'm telling you to do right here, and it doesn't work for you, and that is because you're missing something. So here's what I'm going to show you. Try and go and create a script again. And if your script doesn't have all this stuff that you put in, that is because you're missing a step. What you need to do is you need to go to File, Beta Features, and go to the bottom, near the bottom, make sure User Provided Default Instances box is checked, and then click on Save. Click on Restart, and now you're going to go back into your script. Once you have typed in the player added event and the touch event script for the first time, you're going to go up here to Edit, and you want to click on Save as Default Script. And then from here on, every time you add a new script, you're going to have these two scripts already available for you to choose. Now, I know a lot of you may say to yourself right now, PriceCP forgot something else. Like there's something else that I used to make games, like let's say remote events. He didn't include remote events in that script. So how do I do a server to client remote event? Well, it's very simple. If there's something that you need that is not in there already, then what you want to do is you want to add it in. So just go back to the server script service, click on the plus sign, add a new script, and then just go to the bottom and say server to client remote event. And there you see the AI has suggested that. So why don't we just hit tab to accept? And it has suggested some more. I'm kind of lazy now. I don't want to type, so I'm just going to hit tab to accept again. So basically here we're creating a remote event, and we name it the sick event, and we place it inside the replicate storage. So if this is all you need, then you just go up here, click edit, save as default. And now every time you open up a new script, you're gonna have the remote event there. If you want, you can also put more in it. For example, you can fire the remote event. So you can go down here and you can say remote : fire all clients. And now you're gonna need to update the default script. So every time you make a change to the default script, you want to make sure you remember to update it. So go back up to edit and select save as default script again. I'm gonna go ahead and delete the script now. I'm going to create another script, and this time I want to create a server to client remote event, a server to all clients. So we're just going to click up here, add a script, and there it is. It's our server to all clients remote event here. We can go ahead and delete all these. And there it is. Again, you have this available to you, whether you use it every day, tomorrow, the next day, next month, next year. It is there for you. There is no need to memorize all this stuff. And you can do the same thing with local scripts and module scripts. So let's say if you want to do a local script here, right? So you just got to go ahead and go to, let's say we go to the starter player scripts, and we're going to add a local script. So right now it still prints hello world. I'm going to change that. I'm going to put in my script just one time. So basically almost any local script, you're going to start with the local player to get your local player, and you want to wait for the character to be added, and then you can do whatever you want to do after that. Let's say you're going to stop there, or there's something else you need to do, then you can do it here. But let's say if I just want those 2 lines at the start of every local script, so this way I don't need to remember how to get the local player and how to wait for the character to load. Then I can just add those 2 lines and go to edit and save as default local script. So this way, whenever I go and create a new local script, I would have those 2 lines already loaded for me. So there you have it, guys. Now there is no more excuses to ever not to script a Roblox game again, because now the scripting nightmare is just a thing of the past, and you have Roblox providing you with all the stuff you need to make your beautiful games just by going to the toolbox. The toolbox gives you all the different models that you need for your games, for example, vehicle, structure, lights, almost anything that you need for your game. The only thing that was missing was the scripting part. It was a nightmare. Now it's no longer a nightmare. Now it's so simple to do. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you find it helpful, please go ahead and share to your friends, family. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more Roblox Studio tutorials.